Does McKinsey only hire from Cambridge graduates? Here's what I have found out after ripping off over 100 LinkedIn profiles from those who have actually got into McKinsey as an analyst and also associate. And here is what I'm going to share with you in this YouTube video. A lot of times we're told that you have to go to famous universities in order to get hired by MBB companies. Is it true or is it actually false? And here in this video, I'm going to show you actual data and also evidence to see if this is true. And the main takeaway for you is to really understand, do you have a chance to go into McKinsey? Or even if you're a high school kid, you're thinking of which university to get into, which university will be better for you if you want to have a fantastic career after that? Or simply just to increase your chance of getting into a competitive industry like management consulting or investment banking. So what I have done in this piece of analysis is I have scanned and filtered out 200 people from LinkedIn and only narrowed down to 10 profiles where they're currently actually working in McKinsey. And for the first dimension of analysis, I only focus on business analysts, which in McKinsey terminology, it simply means those who are graduated from university or master's degree. They have zero work experience, and this is the lowest level in terms of hierarchy within McKinsey. Now, I also only focus on those who joined McKinsey in the past 1 to 2 years because their experience at university tend to be more referenceable for us, and that also means McKinsey recruitment policy and also recruitment process have not changed dramatically if they just joined McKinsey recently comparing to 10 years ago. I also only focus on UK office. As well, I make sure I look at the profiles from McKinsey analysts to ensure they join McKinsey literally as their first full-time offer. And make sure that they don't have any advanced degree like PhD or MBA because that's completely different recruitment paths. So what did I find out? First, out of all of these profiles, I realized a lot of them, they actually indeed from target school. And specifically in UK, they are from G5 University, which stands for the top 5 university in the UK. And they are University of Cambridge, Oxford, LSE, Imperial, and UCL. And it's very shocking that those who graduated from top 5 university, close to 50% of them actually graduated from LSE. Not Oxford, not Cambridge, but LSE. And there is a report released by McKinsey recently. They showed how many students coming from each university that joined their firm, and LSE is actually the top university that they tend to recruit from. Now the next thing, what about the non-target school, right? If I don't come from the top 5 university, which one do I have a better chance? So 30% of the McKinsey analysts, they graduated from non-G5, they typically come from top Russell Group University. And what we notice is University of Warwick, they are the most common one. A lot of students graduated from Warwick University. They joined McKinsey very early on. And even though it's less compared to G5, but they also have a better chance. And we also have seen University of Bath, University of Bristol, and also Durham University before too. Now, if you're not coming from top 5 universities in the UK, what do you need to do in order to compensate and be competitive in the recruitment process? What we notice is that those who are not from the top 5 uni, they have actually more than 3 internship experiences, specifically in finance and consulting. Which means that if your degree is not high ranking, then you need to make up by having more internships, by having more experience, by working in better companies, so that your number of internships is going to stack up and you will be able to be on the same level to compete with those who graduated from LSE, Cambridge, or Oxford. Now, you might be wondering, what kind of internship should I be doing in order to get into MBB or McKinsey? And I've done a deep dive analysis on the type of internships that students have done in order to get into McKinsey, backed by data again. And if that intrigues you, you can click the link here to check out my next video to understand how to best prepare, what kind of internship should you do, how many internships should you do, and the relation of the internship with the university. All of that is in this video. So now my next question is, those who join McKinsey as a business analyst, did they only finish their undergraduate degree or do they have to get a master's degree? So moving on to the next part of the research, I noticed that majority of the McKinsey analysts, they have only completed bachelor degree and then they joined McKinsey straight away. Of course, they have done a lot of internships before. That means you don't necessarily have to have a master's degree just to increase your chance of getting into MBA. But if you pay really close attention to what they have actually studied in their undergraduate degree, you are going to notice that 80% of them, they study economics, business, management related degree, which makes sense because if you study business management, you already are familiar with the frameworks. You have already been pre-exposed to a lot of business case during your studies. So your degree gives you that fundamentals and the foundation in even the frameworks and the practice, as well as the knowledge to be able to prepare really well to be a consultant. Compared to those who have studied STEM, humanity, law, medicine, you have much better chance. Now we know which kind of university McKinsey tend to hire their business analysts from. My question is, does that change if we're looking at the associate level, which is one level above business analysts? In order to that research, I went through LinkedIn again, over 100 to 200 profiles, and specifically, I only narrowed down to 10 and focus on those who actually joined McKinsey as an associate rather than an analyst. And specifically, I made sure that most of the criteria are the same. They're currently working in McKinsey. They joined McKinsey just recently, and then they joined McKinsey in the UK, not any other offices, because the level of competition and also the standard is completely different, office by office. And I made sure that they did not join McKinsey as their first full-time role, but instead, they have actually worked in other company and jumped into McKinsey later on. So why do we need to analyze this? Let's say if I couldn't get into McKinsey in my first try after I graduated, I couldn't join McKinsey as a business analyst. Does that mean that I'm just completely gone? I don't have any chance anymore. I want to see if the requirement also changes for associate level comparing to analyst level. Now, just for your information, associate level in McKinsey, I'm going to put a chart here. Essentially, it's level 2. Level 1 is analyst, level 2 is associate. The recruitment for associate is a little bit different. So for analysts, typically they want you to have less than 4 years of work experience. You just need to complete it at your bachelor degree. Whereas for associate level, they want you to have some work experience, typically 2 to 5 years. And or if you have advanced degree like PhD or MBA. So we're going to look into that and then see if the standard and the recruitment process also changes if you're going for the level 2 associate level. So what did we find out? So the first thing I was looking at was whether their undergraduate university was from the top 5 university again. And it was a little bit similar to the previous finding because 60% of the McKinsey associate, they actually graduated from top 5 university. Again, Cambridge, Oxford, LSE, Imperial, UCL. Comparing to previous at associate level, you tend to have a bit higher percentage of that. And interestingly, for those who are from top 5 university, now this time, more than half actually graduated from Imperial College London. So if you graduated from Imperial, it's pretty heavy on engineering, right? And a lot of these McKinsey associate, they actually have studied non-business related degree, specifically STEM related degree at Imperial before they work for some years and then join McKinsey later on. And it's surprising, majority of their undergraduate degree are actually not in business. Only 30% of them study business or management. If you take a look at some of examples, like Imperial, Cambridge, University of Bristol, Civil Engineering, Imperial Physics, University of Manchester, Cambridge, and a lot of them actually didn't study management in their undergraduate degree, which is interesting. Now, how did they manage to get into McKinsey if they don't have any, business or economics background? Then I look into another dimension, which is MBA. One common question a lot of people have is, do I need to get an MBA degree in order to get into MBB? What I did is I also looked into how many of those who got into McKinsey as an associate actually did MBA. So what I noticed, not all of them actually had MBA degree. Only 20% of the McKinsey analysts had MBA degree. But when we looked into the MBA school, majority of them, they graduate from top MBA schools. For example, LBS and University of Oxford. But the interesting fact is most of those who joined McKinsey as an associate, they didn't have a PhD degree. Even though level 2 associate is pretty PhD friendly, but none of them actually had a PhD degree, which means that PhD is definitely not needed and probably wouldn't help you too much to get into consulting, specifically MBB. Now, the conclusion we have so far, if you join McKinsey as level 2 associate, you didn't join them from level 1 straight away, and you did not study any business economics or business management related degree, what kind of work experience do you need? How long do you need to working before you try MBB again? Now, after going through their work experience section, what I find out is most of them, they have 2 to 5 years of work experience. And as some of us already have predicted, 50% of those associates, they actually had experience in consulting before. But if we take a deeper look into the companies that they worked in, most of them, they're in Big Four. Smaller percentage of them actually had worked in boutique consulting before they jumped into McKinsey. But it seems like, so far, Big Four is a common bridge between where you are to MBB. So if you failed your MBB application for analyst after you graduated, you can work in Big Four for some time, and later on you will have a higher chance to jump into MBB again. Now, if you don't have any work experience consulting, does that mean that you can't get into MBB anymore? That's not true, because a lot of other associates also have work experience in non-consulting world, and these experiences include corporate strategy, product management, R&D scientist, engineering, or even law, and also NHS doctor before. But one thing you're going to notice as well is a lot of companies, even though they're working, are not necessarily consulting, but a lot of these companies are pretty famous, like big, Fortune 500 companies. So after all of these, what can we learn from this video? What are the key takeaways? Now, the final verdict for you guys is try to go for G5 for your undergraduate degree, because that gives you the higher chance of going into McKinsey. Doesn't matter if it's level 1 analyst or level 2 associate. Now, if you unfortunately couldn't get into top 5 university in the UK, then your better chance might be going after the associate role after some years of work experience. Now, when it comes to picking your degree, if you study business management economics, you will have much higher chance of getting into analyst level 1. But if you decide to study STEM or non-business degree, then you have 2 options still to jump into MBB McKinsey. Option 1 is you can join tier 2 consulting firms like Big Four or small boutique consulting firms. After 3 to 4 years, then you can try McKinsey MBB again. Or option 2 is you can still stick with the industry that you decide to work in. For example, if you study engineering, you work as an engineer, you study science, you can join as a scientist, collect that work experience in that specific industry, and then try MBB, build up your business awareness, build up your case interviewing skills and also your work experience, and as well as the results you deliver to the previous company, and try MBB again. So in this research, the results does confirm a lot of the rumors out there and also hypotheses. Your degree matters, your university matters, your work experience matters. If you unfortunately could not go to the best uni or you fail just one of the critical components, you still can get into MBB after that. But either way, I hope you enjoyed this video, and give me a like if you do, and also comment to let me know what other pieces of analysis you also want me to do, and I'll see you guys around.